How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Monsters. This is Season 1, Episode 24, and this one's entitled Strega. This originally aired May 27th, 1989, and it was actually the finale to Season 1, so that's pretty cool. The episode was directed by Lizzie Borden, not the historical figure, just an unrelated director. We actually have a pretty big star this time around. This episode has Linda Blair in it, who is best known as Regan from The Exorcist, so really cool to see a pretty big horror movie star show up in Monsters. We also have Morrow and Maria Tucci in this episode. And overall, this episode was okay. It had some moments that really worked, in particular the strong performances from Linda Blair and Morrow. They had a good chemistry, and this episode also moved along pretty well and really kept you guessing. The only thing is, it felt really disorganized. When you start off the episode, you think it's going to be a captivity episode, and then you're like, okay, no, maybe it's a power struggle episode, or maybe it's an episode about uncovering the secrets of the past, or maybe it's an episode about the life of a modern-day witch, or maybe it's a love story. There's just so many ideas going all over the place, and it really would have been better if this episode had just picked a few of these ideas and developed them, because a lot of the ideas in here don't get proper development, and I really wish we could have just saw fewer of these plot lines through to better completion, you know? Honestly, I think if this was a movie, if this had a full hour and a half, we could have done these ideas and they would have felt more natural and they would have worked out better. But here it just jumps in and out of so many different ideas and goes all over the place. We really don't feel like we have any structure. And there are times when this has like twist or big unexpected moments, big dramatic things, and they just kind of come out of nowhere and feel a little off. I do think this episode needed some trimming and focus because it kind of feels a little disorganized. But at least because it is wacky and all over the place, it does keep you guessing. And I guess some people might like the unpredictable nature. I will say this wasn't a terrible episode by any means. I've definitely seen worse episodes of Monsters. And even though it was a little all over the place, it was still relatively interesting. So I'll give it that. Not a terrible episode. But I mean, we have Linda Blair in this episode. I really wish the episode was way better. I mean, Adrienne Barbeau and Ashley Lawrence both got pretty good episodes here. It's sad that Linda Blair got the weakest of those, but it's still an okay episode, and again, strong performances and does have its moments. It just really needed a better focus. I guess without further ado, in order to analyze it further, I do want to take a bit of a look at the plot. No major spoilers, but I do want to break down and analyze a few things. I'll be avoiding the end, but let's go ahead and do a deeper dive. We open up in this dress shop, and that's where Linda Blair works, and there's one guy left in the store, and it's almost closing time, so she goes ahead and closes the door, and that's when the guy pulls a knife on her and says, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to kill you now," and she pulls a gun on him and says, "Oh no, I don't think you are." So right off the bat, we're kind of swinging for the big dramatic notes in the beginning, but okay. She takes him up to her apartment and ties him to the couch, and that's where she says, "Okay, why did you want to kill me?" And he explains that he thinks she's Strega. Strega is a famous witch, and he says, 10 years ago, my mother had an encounter with her. You see, the shop below here used to be a pawn shop, which I don't know why they changed it to a dress shop in the future. You could have just had it be a pawn shop the whole time. But whatever. My mother sold a ring to this pawn shop. She wanted it back. But the witch said, "No, we don't have your ring anymore," and then cursed my mother to die in 10 years with one of those super slow-acting magic spells, I guess. Well, Linda Blair says, "I'm not Strega. I'm clearly way too young." And he says, "But you are older downstairs." But the guys who made the episode didn't give Linda Blair old age makeup in the previous scene. Yeah, you really should have cut the line if you weren't gonna do the makeup. Whatever, the script isn't holy, change it if you have to. But anyway, she says, Listiga was my mother, and I'm sure that the situation wasn't what you think it was. And she says, how about we do this? Let's give it 2 weeks, you stay here with me, and you see what kind of person I really am, and then if you still want to kill me, then go ahead, but give it 2 weeks first. And of course the first thing he does is try to kill her, but she pulls a witch trick and gets out of it. I won't spoil what that is, but it's a fun moment. And then after that, he's kind of hanging out in the shop, and we get to see like a woman come in and say, oh, I am pregnant now, thank you for helping me out, I'm so happy. And when the guy talks to her later, she says, oh no, that would have happened anyway, she's young and in love, and I'm getting undue praise, it's all natural. And I'm like, wait a minute, you just showed us a big wacky magic moment a minute ago, and now you're like, oh, it's all overhyped, this magic stuff. And I'm like, okay, that might work if we were questioning whether magic is real, but you just showed us it is. But whatever. After that, though, he does get to spend a little more time with her and get to know her. And it's not really a spoiler because they say it right off the bat, but he begins to have some feelings for her. And that is one of the things that does kind of feel like it goes a little bit fast. Again, if this was a movie, we could have made that transition a lot slower. Hey, maybe even pitch this as a rom-com. But yeah, it does go a little bit fast to that end, especially from where they started out. And again, it's not a spoiler because there's an awkward line at the beginning where Linda Blair goes, hey, we might even fall in love. And I'm like, well, I guess that's one way to try to set it up. But then there's a whole bunch of stuff with the past, and it's kind of clunkily put in there. I mean, I get what was going on, but I'm not sure if everything made 100% sense, and even if it did, it was just doled out too clumsily. But overall, it does keep you guessing, and there are some good ideas. I don't want to say this episode's terrible, it just really needed a better sense of focus or a longer time. This actually, as I said earlier, would have been a really cool movie, and I would actually kind of like to see that. I talked previously in my reviews for Darkside, and I think it holds true for Monsters, that I would love to see an anthology show where it's a series of hour-and-a-half movies. That would be pretty cool. They tried to do that with In the Dark, and In the Dark didn't 100% work, but whatever. Anyway, though, I still think it was a fun enough episode, but not great. Whatever. All that being said, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Monsters playlist, where you should be able to find my reviews to all the past episodes, which should now be the entirety of Season 1. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.